Hello fish friends. Okay, today I'll share with you my routine in maintaining this planted tank. I first off begin by examining what work needs to be done. I check the leaves of the Mexican sword and I noticed that some of these have started to decay, so that will need to be trimmed. The budja also needs a lot of work because only the top portion of the plants have leaves and the lower halves are actually skinny. Plants are actually funny because if they sense that the lower half leaves are not actually doing anything, then the plant will just shed all the leaves. So that's what is actually happening there. So I cut the tops, the beautiful part of the plant, and I keep it down below on a tray. After that, I will pull out the lower halves and then just replant the tops. This is, if the elevation of the tank was actually higher, then this would not be necessary, but I did not necessarily pre-plan the aquascape of this tank. I just planted it there and I let nature go loose, and it's not really clear to see there because it's hiding behind that driftwood, but all the leaves below that line are actually gone. So I just continue on and remove everything, and now I'm pulling out the lower halves. Also, the cryptocorin needed some trimming. I did a lot of that. See, only the upper half has leaves and the bottom did not. I take my time to do this. There's no sense in rushing it. As Balaj from Green Aqua says, this part of the hobby is supposed to be very therapeutic. Well, yeah, to some extent, I guess. If you could control the growth of the plants so that they would just stay compact, that would be nicer. But in this particular setup, they like to reach for the light because I'm not using very powerful light, so they grow tall. Wiping the glass to make it visible for you people in YouTube. By the way, I use any commercial glass cleaner for this, but not now, maybe after the tank is finally done. Then out with the glass scraper. I inserted a fresh blade in there because I needed to work on the scale that's attached on the top level. I have very hard water and the scale comes back after a few days, especially with the evaporation, and it's just one of those things that can make or break the aesthetics of a planted tank. This is actually a 2-layer rack, so I might as well also do the lower half, but I am not going to do any major work below. I'm just gonna remove the scale and change the water, and that's it for the bottom. Now would also be a good time to remove your filter. In this case, I'm just making my own sponge filter with a power head thing. It's worked well for me, so I don't have any fancy filters on this tank. Then I reinstall it. I do not power it on yet. I will remove much of the water next, and I use my own homemade gravel vac. It's from a juice bottle and it works actually quite fine. It's also very easy to start. I just fill it up with a little water and let gravity do its thing. Now, a lot of ways to use this gravel vac. You can also use this to remove debris that's floating on top of the surface. If you just balance it just enough, the dead leaves that are already floating, I can remove that by using the gravel vac that way. Then of course, since this is a planted tank, it has a dwarf Sagittaria carpet. I do not dig into the soil. I just siphon as much as of the loose organics that are settling in the bottom like so, and I do not really apply pressure. I do not want to tear down on the roots or destroy the plants, and I remove as much of the organics that are present. You can clearly see that it's sucking a lot of loose organics there, especially in the back portion. There's a lot that's just built up there. As to the amount of water that I change, well, it really depends. I'm just doing maybe 30%. Here I am replanting the tops already. Now would be a good time to do this because the water is not yet full, and it's just easier to plant it when it's not so deep. I did not plant all of it. I did not think I needed to replant all of that. It was just a lot. And then comes the part wherein we add water. For me, this is probably the most gratifying part, when you get to see the water level rise again. And it's just a signal that we're almost done. At this point, more loose leaves will appear. I don't know from where, but they just seem to appear, so I remove all of that with a net, and then I start the filter. And as expected, there's going to be a lot of muck or cloudiness in the water, but that's normal. That's not a problem, and this should clear up in an hour or two, and it will start to look beautiful. But this next footage is done 3 days later.
Several days later.
Now, a few days later, this is what we have. The water is crystal clear. You can see that. And look at this Mexican sword. It's just a beast. The Ludwigia's also already straightened out and is adjusting and is showing amazing colors. The Cryptocorin as well is growing tall and majestic. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. It would really help me grow my channel. Bye.